In the following tutorial, we will cover how to set up objectives, create quests, place items. We'll also cover how to create barriers, use dynamic lights, set up effects, as well as add in some ambient sound and music. So let's begin with covering how to set up an objective in your map. In my scene, I have our guy that we created earlier. I also added another dude right here. What I want my objective for the map to be is to kill these two guys, and then the objective will be complete. So the easiest way to set up an objective for multiple AI is to add a AI group. So go back up here to All, under Type, go to AI group. Select it, and then right click on each AI and add to the group. Make sure that your AI group is selected, and then right mouse click and add enemy man, and then go and double click and go inside the AI group and see if we added members. We have 2 AIs. Next is we want to create new objective. So go back up to Type and find objectives. Click on it and add new object. So the first thing we need to do is we need to rename it to something more recognizable. So I'm going to name mine kill_2_ and here that do not use any spaces and do not use any dashes. Use underscores if you need to, or just take everything away and just punch the words up together. Next is you want to set up objective order numbers. So if you have multiple objectives in your map, this will show up in number of importance. So in our case we have only one, so this is the first one. So if you have multiple ones, you would name them 2, 3, 4 and so on. Under text ID and short text ID, this text is the same, a description for your objective. So I typed in go and eliminate 2 hitman. So I'm going to copy and paste them into the same text ID and short text ID as the same. Under C location, editor location, this is pretty cool. This will show the player where to go to complete the objective. So a star will show up on your map and it'll give you a direction. It'll give the player a direction where to go to. And the way you insert that is by going into All, go to Location, and then add that into your map and place it where you want the star to appear. So by double clicking on the star, here you can set up e-color, and this will give you what the star will look like, what it will appear as. So I'm going to select star silver. Now when you have that set, then go back up and select your objective, and where it says kill 2 guys, open that back up, and where it says location, editor locator, select it, right click and set attribute. Next is you want to enable on start, turn that off, because you don't want your objective to start as soon as you enter the map. So click that off. Next we're going to create a sensor, and the sensor will do if the player walks into that sensor, it will activate our objective. Create a sensor by going up to All, Type, Sensor, and let's choose a cylinder and place it onto my map, and let's scale it. So here's my sensor. So we are going to set this up as when the player walks into that sensor, it will activate the objective for us. So now double click on your sensor and go into the sensor properties. So let's set up a few actions. On enter, I want to have this group of guys appear, and then under C target, let's set up our target, and you want to select, right mouse click and set attribute to your target group, and make sure C type is appear. So when our player walks into our sensor, this group will appear. Now for the demonstration of this objective and the sensor, I'm going to set it up to where we can see them appear, but you want to set up your sensor and the group to appear at more desirable location. Now go back up to the sensor, let's set up another action. So create a new action and select enable, disable. And for your target, you want to select the objective that we just created. Kill 2 guys. So we walk in, we can see the group, and objective gets activated. And since we positioned our locator right in here, it will also enable itself automatically when we enable the objective. Also make sure that C-type is set to enable. Now go back to AI group, and on die, let's set up a few actions on die. So double click, and we want, when the group dies, we want to have our action target, our objective accomplished, and then we need to select our target, which is our objective. And C-type is set to accomplish. So this will tell us that the objective has been accomplished when this group is dead. And before we jump into game, I've noticed that we still have our objective has dashes in it, so we need to change that before we do anything. So make sure that your name doesn't have any dashes, that your objective name uses underscores or nothing at all, or uses just words bunched up together. So just by getting rid of the dashes and just using the underscores, you refresh, and everything else going under, everything else should be changed accordingly. So now we can jump in game and test our new objective. So now if we walk into a sensor, our objective gets activated, our guys show up, and if we kill these guys, our objective has been completed.